I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and it is that time of the year again, as the 2025 Carcassonne World Cup is approaching. Teams are arranging friendly matches to try out new strategies and to try out new players. We will be witnessing two friendly matches today. First of all, an 8 versus 8 Ukraine versus Chile showdown. You can see all the lineups on the screen, and both sides have a lot of new players that will be playing on the international scene for the first time. So I am excited to see how good they are. Maybe there are some hidden talents. And after an hour or so, we will be watching a bit of a smaller match, 5 versus 5. Finland versus Hungary. That should also be very close, with Finland's 3 masters and Hungary, of course, the reigning world number 3. I have picked already a pair which I want to watch. That will be Slava Phil versus Adan Las Eras. Neither of these players have really appeared on stream that much. Slava Phil, that will be his first time. And this player has not participated on an international level before, to my knowledge. And the reason I chose this matchup is because, well, they simply have the closest rating, so it should be the closest matchup. Very, very simple. The format is very, very straightforward. Best of 3 on all 8 tables. So whoever wins a duel on one of those tables brings their team a match point, and the team with the greatest number of match points wins. Slava with the red meeples against Adan with the yellow meeples. The game is proceeding at a brisk pace, as 20 tiles have been played in just under 4 minutes. The advantage on the scoreboard belongs to the Ukrainian, but it is only slight. And yellow, in fact, has more stuff on the board. And if anything, I slightly prefer yellow's position. He's about to finish an 8-point city at the top. There's also this road that is just waiting for a crossroads. And also, Adan now takes a new city cap. Something that could have been prevented by red on his previous turn. But red can make a wonderful move to connect his 1-point road with yellow's 5-point road, and also to expand his field. It needs to be noted that yellow was the first one to drop a farmer, and now this farmer has a lot of potential, even though now it's only scoring 3 points for this completed city. Eventually, this city is going to be added to the field, this city is going to be added to the field, there are lots of green squares, and so on. But in the meantime, Adan finishes a city for 8 points. They're threatening another 8-pointer over here, and overall their scoring potential is just a little bit better. So a slight advantage for the Chilean here. Also, do let me know in the chat, of course, who you're rooting for. I would expect a roughly equal number of Ukrainian and Chilean fans today. And also, if there is any particular duel that you want me to show, I can totally do that in either this match or the one which is happening in an hour. I will be focusing on this one, but I want to maybe open 1 or 2 more tables to just take a peek at them with one eye. So Slava starts a new city. Adan finishes his 8-pointer, quite straightforward move. Note that there is now a monastery spot for either side to grab, but great tile for Slava to score some 3 points over here. I doubt that he's going to go over here and continue his city. It does not seem to be worth it just yet. And this would be the highest scoring road on the board. Certainly, he's not going to go over here because that would be, I think, a bit too reckless at this score. He is a little bit behind, but connecting to this city would be way, way too risky because it would expose a reconnection platform on the left with something like a starting tile or a dagger. Now, if the score were 8 against 40 or something, then this move would have been worth doing. But overall, red is only slightly behind, and red can equalize this position by simply drawing a monastery. He does indeed go for the reckless move and the content move, and he's going to pay the price immediately as Adan uses the new platform to get a second city into the meeple. No, to get a second meeple into the city. Yeah, that was just uncalled for, I think. I mean, it's certainly entertaining to watch, but so first of all, the value of this move was really not that great. It was worth 3 points. He equalized a 2-point city with a 5-point city of yellow. Whilst he could have taken the same 3 points by simply taking care of this road. Moreover, it would be actually a great idea for him to go over here strategically. You know why? Because at some point, yellow can go over here and drop a farmer. So this is a very easy way to equalize the field. So let's say yellow drops a farmer here, and then gets one of the 3 remaining crossroads, gets himself a meeple back, and gets his hypothetical farmer into the main field. Now, if this horse tile were over here, then suddenly this opportunity to drop farmers would be completely blocked off. The only way to drop a farmer for yellow would be to draw the 1 remaining dagger tile, like one of those, and then to drop a farmer over here. But that's so unlikely that it appears to be a massive, massive missed opportunity for Slava. Well, let's see how he recovers from that. Elias is saying Slava says, I knew it, but he went for it anyway. And he's saying maybe he also knew he'll get the splitter later. But the thing about the splitter, it actually does not help Slava at all. Yeah, so let's say if he gets a splitter, he's going to go over here and separate this yellow guy from the invasion. But if that happens, yellow's going to get in 6-point city anyway for this little guy. And also, Slava will be forced to waste such a valuable tile as a city splitter on simply preventing his opponent from getting a threat. So even if Slava gets a splitter, this will be good for yellow. Like, there are no possible bad outcomes for yellow in this situation. So Slava now gets himself a meeple back, scores a little bit. And he has the temporary meeple advantage, which maybe can amount to something. Adan makes a road move that's actually very interesting. I kind of like it. He's really going for the aggressive scoring here, not looking to farm just yet. I guess if you're going to go over here and farm, you will be relying quite a lot on this crossroad tile. And maybe the Chilean decides that he can try and win without that crossroad tiles anyway. That's a very nice idea to build an 8-point road here like this. I wonder if this road meeple gets blocked sometimes. And Slava starts a new city, but that's another mistake. A far, far better move by Slava was to start a new city in his field. I feel like the way you come back into this game, you just get a stronghold on the field. You use your temporary meeple majority. So you want to be building all of your cities in the same field. And then let's say, imagine if these 2 tiles were over here. He goes over here, drops a farmer, and then tries to continue his building efforts like this. The purpose of this move was actually not bad at all. So it creates an attacking platform against this city, and it also creates a blocking platform against this road, although Adan drew the last remaining dagger immediately. This is something else. And then, moreover, yellow is threatening to get a curve and then drop a farmer over here whilst also completing an 8-point road. This will be just huge for yellow. In any case, a fantastic tile for Slava, as he's the first one to get a crack at this monastery spot, but I'm a bit concerned that he hasn't clicked here just yet. He should just go there almost automatically. Click, 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 click. Because it's way, way too good to ignore. I wonder if he has any hesitations about going over there with his monastery. But the thing is, if you go there, maybe he's worried about some sort of blocking ideas, but blocking ideas are so unlikely there. Yes, we're running short on dagger tiles, and I guess sometimes your monastery meeple there gets blocked, but it happens so, so rarely. So Slav is not in a position of being risk averse, but maybe he's thinking of something else. maybe he's thinking of going over here for 6 points instead, and then preparing another monastery spot for 9 points, and then hoping to win that coin flip. That's actually not the worst idea, but I feel like he's not far enough behind to try stuff like this. I feel like simply meepling the monastery normally would be the way to go. And then after that, we're gonna try and restrict this road meeple a little bit, make yellow wait for his crossroads, and then maybe maintain control of the field with the majority of just one meeple as opposed to dropping a second meeple there prematurely. 44 seconds remaining for this turn for Slava Phil. Now, it's a pretty friendly time format. It allows 45 seconds per turn in addition to a 3-minute time bag, and he goes for the more aggressive move. For the high variance move, Aden Lazeres is going to drop a farmer in the... is going to miss the opportunity to drop a farmer. Okay. Now, why didn't he do that? Let me think about this. So the only reason why he's not doing this, I think, is that he's trying to possibly win this without the triple crossroad tile. But I doubt that it's worth it, because, like, if you go over here and drop a farmer, yes, it's in the unlikely event that your opponent gets all 3 triple crossroad tiles, then you get a meeple strander for 3 points. But in such an event, you can also come back by getting this monastery over here. I don't know. I feel like the Chilean is being a bit stingy with his meeples, and he's going to have to attack the field later, except that he's going to take a less efficient route. And it's something that matters quite a lot, because if you just drop a farmer here, then you will connect using 0 tiles, because this tile over here for the square, it's something that you're going to be using anyway. So what we're going to see later is that yellow going to draw this tile at some point, get his meeple back, and then spend 2 more tiles on attacking the field. Or maybe not. Maybe yellow is thinking how to win this without the field, which is also a possibility. So you can see that he drew a splitter tile, which he uses to just keep scoring at the top. And also at the top, there's another counter field, potentially, for yellow to occupy. And so I could definitely see a situation where maybe red decides to drop a second farmer somewhere to get a better stronghold on the main field. And you wouldn't blame him. It's a very good field. But then Aden, using his scoreboard lead, can simply go over here and claim a 6-point field with 1 meeple, which will grow into a 9-point field, which is going to grow into a 12-point field, and which will become comparable to the value of the main fields in the game. So how do you deal with that if you're Slava? Well, first of all, you got to score to catch up on the scoreboard, which is exactly what he's doing. Then you're really hoping to win this coin flip for the monastery. And he does. So now this game gets interesting. The more aggressive monastery placement pays off for Slava as he gets the 9 points. His other monastery is 7 points already. He has the stronghold on the main field. This field is not very easy to invade, but a great move from Aden Lazeres, who now blocks his blocks his monastery completely. There's no tile at all that fits into this square. A crossroad tiles for Aden, but not the one that he wants. In fact, he cannot use it at all. There's no place to score quick points. So he might just go over here, start a new road, and then get a crossroads and drop a farmer. Something like this. There aren't really many other good moves. On the other hand, if you go over here, then your opponent might go over here and block your road. So that could be a little bit unpleasant. But even if that's going to happen, there's still plenty of crossroads remaining, because in addition to the 3 field crossroads, there are also 2 umbrella tiles like this. Let's see where the Ukrainian goes. So he definitely must be feeling some momentum go his way after that 9-point monastery pull. Maybe this gives us some time to catch up with the other players. No, it doesn't. And he chooses to Oh wait, that was Slava. Yeah, that wasn't. Oh wait, actually for Slava, then the scoring move would have made way more sense. Yeah, I think this was a bit of an unnecessary sacrifice. Although I don't know, I don't know. So Auden goes for the counter field, basically shows that he has no intention of fighting for the main field. And now I guess if Slava is looking to create a blocking platform against that city, he's going to follow up, being precise with the side that he's blocking. Oh, and there we go. A couple of curves and a yellow meeple trap for 2 points. This is huge for the Ukrainian. This meeple is going to mean a lot. So now the Chilean's going to play with just one meeple for the entire game unless he draws this one and only tile. There are no tiles that fit into the square anymore. Yellow has already committed a farmer over here. Not sure about this here move. Maybe Aden is not counting tiles necessarily. Maybe he thinks that he needs to block this square. No, he doesn't. Oh no, he doesn't. So what does Slava do here? Well, he could go here perhaps and here, trying to expand his field by bringing in one more city. Instead, he chooses to drop a farmer to equalize the farm of Aden, which makes sense, because this farm is going to be worth 9 points, and there are really not many places to score. Curvy tile for Slava. Probably looking to make this field unification, or perhaps just expand his field a little bit. There's also another move available. He can go over here. That would limit some field connection opportunities, because you know what? There are a couple of scenarios where yellow will be looking to fight for the big field anyway, and yellow could actually go over here, connect to the field, and so on and so on. Through a series of monasteries, for example, monastery here, farmer, monastery here. I'm thinking, of course, about the very, very end game. So a way to combat this would be go over here. But there are also some other options. For example, if he goes over here, this would set up a very sneaky idea. A combo of a field monastery plus a road monastery would in fact unify all of these fields. This would make these 3 cities part of the main field, which he has control on. Instead, Slava just keeps things small, makes it a bit harder for yellow to invade the main field. Yellow gets a scoring tile, gets 2 points. 10 points ahead on the scoreboard for the Chilean. Red with a Dorito tile. I presume he's looking for the unification of the fields at the top. At least this is what I would expect. The reason I would like to unify those fields, even though they're the same value, so this guy's 6 and this guy's 6, the field here is a little bit better just because it has more green squares to drop more city caps and expand the field. So with a tile which doesn't have a lot of value, we want to prevent that. Also, it is important to know that there's one splitter tile still available, which could go over here and finish the shared city of red and yellow, which would benefit red because red would get all those extra field points. There are also 2 triple city tiles available. And there was an opportunity to go over here with his last meeple and connect to the city and try to overrun this big 16 points ruin with 3 meeples versus 2. And this possibility was possible for either side. And so with this move, Slava decided to first of all prevent yellow from taking over this ruin. And second, preserve the splitter tile for future use if he wants to just finish the shared city. In the meantime, Aden keeps scoring. Finally, a scoring tile for Slava, and a great one as it is one of the crossroads that fit into this square. Now only 2 tiles available there. Where exactly does he go? There's an interesting tactical idea of going over here and leaving 2 roads up for grabs. Just going for a high variance approach. He chooses a low variance approach, and he gets himself only 2 points, but 2 points more for Aden as he draws a crossroads as well, gets himself a 4-point road back. And now it's another very, very open position. All right, so what are we having? 16 extra points on the scoreboard for Aden, a 8-point monastery, and a 15-point field for Slava with 5 completed cities on it. So in fact, Slava is currently ahead. 6-21. He's ahead 5 points for the price of 1 meeple. So this game is fairly even, and if anything, it slightly favors the Chilean maybe. Just because yellow can go over here and threaten the 50-50 chance of invasion of the monastery. There are no curves remaining to fit into the square, but there's still 1 road monastery available. And whenever there's a road monastery available in the deck, it is so difficult to protect the field that in an equal situation, a road monastery in the deck always favors the side which does not have the field. So for example, now Aden can easily drop that farmer and then try to either win with the road monastery or maybe win with some quick points. So if he goes over here, he's only going to be -2. And still chances to get some quick point combos. Or simply the road monastery. So I would probably go over here if I were red. I really don't see any other ideas. Actually, I do. We could also go over here and drop a farmer like this. And the idea of that farmer will be trying to use a crossroads to connect to the field. So this would be one way of doing things. This of course, would be extremely risky because there's only 1 crossroads remaining. But does it even matter? Slava lost on time. So I'm really not sure what the rules are regarding the time in these friendly matches, but most friendly matches are conducted according to the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship rules, and in the Online Team Carcassonne Championship, this would be a loss. As you can see, -3 seconds on Slava's clock. So obviously we're not going to interfere. It appears that Aden is not calling out his opponent. So if Slava wins, the results of this match or the results of this particular game could be nullified. And he doesn't need to go for the farmer. And Slava does not have a good response with the monastery, really. Or actually, he can just use the monastery as a monastery. He can go over here. Just meeple for 5 points. There's really not going to be a lot of value to extract with his last meeples. Instead, he simply discards the monastery, although it's not a complete discard. In fact, it is setting up another field connection through the outside of a curve, I believe. There is still 1 no, there isn't. There isn't any curvy tile. There isn't a dagger. There isn't anything, really. So, a road monastery for Slava means that yellow is not going to connect to the main field. But yeah, this move, at first, I thought it was setting up an idea like this, like getting a straight line, getting a farmer like this, trying to invade into the field through the outside of a curve, but there are no curvy tiles available, no Doritos with the road, no daggers, no curves, of course. So now the game is completely equal, which actually now favors Slava, or maybe not anymore, as Aden gets a 5-point monastery and Slava is going to be struggling to score a like amount of points. I guess the way he could do that is simply going over here and dropping a farmer. That'll be a 6-point move, as he'll be getting points for both this farmer and this hypothetical farmer as well. But so far a straight road, and he does not really do much. And this is a severe mistake by Slava because he allows for Aden to potentially block his best tile. Well, in any case, Aden got a tile that prevented that splitter idea. So what is Slava going to do here? Hi, Ian. He should be behind 5 points, but he has a meeple. He takes 4 points, but will 4 points be enough? Not quite. A divider for Aden is going to probably seal the deal, as he can simply get 1 extra monastery point over here and even try to develop his field. I don't think there are city caps remaining. In fact, I'm positive that there aren't. Wait, did I forget about this guy? I see only 2 of those. Is there a third one? I think there's a third one. Yep, I think that Slava is going to lose this one actually with a big point difference. Of course, he's going to go over here for 4 points. Or over here for 4 points. Or over here for 4 points. But Aden should be having the last laugh. And by laugh, I mean the parallel city cap. Because there's one here, there's one here. I failed to see the third one on the board, which means that yellow must have it in hand. And he's going to have 8 points. 1 for the monastery, 3 for the field, and 4 for the completed city. And this is the reason why I advised 10 moves ago that yellow unite the field. And it's precisely because of stuff like this. Yellow on this 6-point field had better options to expand his field. So yeah, that's going to be a rough loss for Slava. Really well played by Aden. Also have to say some very nice strategic ideas by Slava as well. Just maybe some tactical precision is what could have helped him a little bit more. Really nice aggressive scoring over here. Nice field control. Aden just managed to keep the scoreboard pressure. Tried to invade the field. Didn't get his 50-50. But then at the end, meepling the monastery what mattered. So yeah, very close game. I think what ultimately decided it... actually turns out I think we had a coin flip for the game, because without the sequence of the city caps, Aden would not have scored that much. But I think what ultimately decided this game was one of the monastery moves by Slava here. He should have recognized that there is a very limited scoring potential for his last 2 meeples. And in fact, he only was able to score 4 points for this road. So what he should have done, simply he should have gone over here, unified the field, and taken a 5-point monastery. So in fact, he would have scored a couple of more points. Also, some massive imprecision from Aden, who took 4 points for the city here instead of over here, whilst also adding a point to his monastery. Of course, it did not end up mattering for the result. Yes, Elias, Aden made 7 instead of 8. Just simply forgot that the city cat would be adding himself a monastery point. But this is something that happens to many players, just because the actual point difference doesn't matter, and you see that one move wins, you simply just forget about being precise, and you just get overly excited that you got yourself a winning tile. So we congratulate our Chilean fans on this win. Now, of course, this ain't mean nothing much, as all the duels are best of 3. Oh wait, I think I copied the wrong player for Chile actually on the scoreboard. Let me just fix that in a second. Dr. Taihan was from the previous match. I forgot to copy that guy on the scoreboard. There we go, Martin Perez. Actually, speaking of them, how they're doing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open their second game and maybe just look at some other scores a little bit. Actually, never mind. This game looks pretty interesting, so I'm going to follow it closely. Maybe let's open another table as well. Max DK versus Fala Felipe. So all Ukrainian players are experts and above, even the new ones. Chile, on the other hand, is testing out some really new players, like rated 200, 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. 300. And this shows as Max DK won his first game in the duel. We can, I guess, make a reflection on that on the scoreboard as well. But back to our main pair of the game. Slava Phil is the starting player now, which should give them the statistical advantage, and they're taking advantage of that advantage by having 4 extra points on the scoreboard, by having a nice construction project over here, but plenty of chances for yellow as well if he manages to consolidate his road, or if he manages to put some pressure against this city. Yellow tries to block Slava's city, but when you do stuff like this, always put a meeple on the monastery. Because you see what happens, in case your opponent gets a tile like this, then you've just wasted a move. With a meeple over here, at the very least, there would have been compensation for the wasted move in the form of the monastery. And actually, the placement of the monastery is great, because it supports this road, and it's quite easy to build up, it's quite difficult to block. So missed opportunity here for CHILE, and especially with 4 meeples, you know, would have had a 5-point monastery, but it is what it is. Wait, actually, I doubt that Slava made the right move, because you know what? He chose to save his meeple, but instead, I think it was better to ignore the safety of that meeple and simply go over here and try to overtake this city, because this city is just too good. Well, how very interesting. But it's understandable that, you know, generally players of expert level don't like sacrificing meeple, and it's a good heuristic. But sometimes, when you're threatening to win a lot of points, sacrificing a meeple is a pretty good idea. Red, of course, now managed to both secure his road and also prevent Slava from invading the city in the future. And in fact, yellow could go over here, and yellow could go over here, and yellow could go over here, and in some scenarios even use his upper meeple to conquer the city. Slava with a lovely scoring tile. Presumably going to finish his road, start a city cap. The reason why he's hesitating is that he just doesn't want to leave a 3-point road up for grabs. But it is what it is. I mean, sometimes we just got to do what we got to do. He might also be thinking about going over here, finishing the shared city for the purpose of equalizing yellow's road, recognizing that yellow still has 2 tiles that fit into this square, and a 75% chance to eventually finish his road. Well, in fact, it's less than 75%, because in many scenarios, this square here gets blocked. And as Slava, I wouldn't be so adamant about fighting for this road. But he disagrees with me as he invests a meeple into this equalization. And you know, this move has an added benefit. It puts some pressure over here. Also, it eliminates this backdoor idea of yellow going all the way like this and reconquering this city. And the Ukrainian is still 4 points ahead on the scoreboard, so it is in his interests to keep things small ball. Actually, now that I look at the overall position after this move, I really start liking this move more and more. Because it's just a great position to be in if you're red. It would have been an equal position with the yellow meeple over here, but since yellow didn't place a meeple on the monastery, then a slight disadvantage for yellow, but it can be rectified. For example, going over here could annoy red quite a lot. 2 points for yellow for this road, making it harder to finish the road over here and get a meeple back. At the very least, it would break up a loop. An alternative is to ignore this square and to do this, which I think is ill-advised in this particular case. So the idea of these 2 points is that he's also indirectly continuing his city. But what yellow didn't realize is that there are actually not so many tiles that fit into this square, because look at this, 3 out of the cows have gone and 2 extenders have gone. So he's looking for a splitter here to continue his city, which means that he's not even going to take advantage of this shielded tile, really. Yeah, there are some ways how this could go well for yellow. He could even get away with finishing 2 of these cities like this, but after the cow has been drawn for Slava, this square is suddenly way, way more dangerous. And he could have a variety of options for himself. So for example, he could go here. Yep, exactly, and try blocking this square. And he's going to succeed. Yeah, this is one of those cases where one of the players was trying to save his meeples by going over here, but as a result, he ended up hurting his own meeples. So really difficult position here for the Chilean, as he's down on the scoreboard, he's down on meeples already, and Slava still has the threat and 2 tiles available to finish a 12-pointer over here and get himself a meeple back. But if yellow manages to score some more, maybe get a monastery where he actually puts a meeple. If he manages to block this square or just draw 2 dagger tiles, then suddenly he's doing okay again. But overall, the situation definitely favors the Ukrainian here. Very interesting move. Instead of finishing his loop, he chooses to limit the potential of yellow cities as a ruin. Actually that's pretty smart. Maybe a more efficient way of doing things would be to go here with a curve first and then to do the same idea with a straight line, but he decided that it was pretty urgent. So the point of this move, yeah, is simply to not allow a horse tile and the further expansion of this ruin. It's actually something that could give him a lot of potential. Okay, finally we can see a yellow meeple on the monastery, so at the very least he takes his second chance. He's also preparing to finish 2 more cities, and if he's successful, he's right back in this game. Slava with a monastery, but not so great a variety of spots for it. I guess he's gonna have to go over here for 5 points and simply equalize Aden's monastery. Actually, that spot is quite okay. I don't really see any better moves. There's an extravagant idea of going over here and then trying to get a starting tile for this square and going over here with a dagger, but it's really not worth it. So I presume that a conventional move is what we're going to see. Also, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and just in the middle of the video remind you about the meepling of the like button. You know, to help the algorithm and stuff. That would be much appreciated. And Slava discards the monastery. Why would you do that with 4 meeples still remaining? I mean, this has to be a mistake. I'm not sure what is with this ideological opposition towards monasteries from both players, but it cost Slava the first game, as he, I believe, would have won if he were to meeple the monastery in the endgame. He decides to preserve 4 of his meeples for something else, but what is that something else, I wonder? Okay, Slava's fighting for the fate of his city at the top. Yellow was trying to block it, and Slava now successfully gets himself, first of all, a defense tile, making it much harder for yellow to find a tile that would block the square. Now finally he gets himself his city, and with that a massive advantage in the game. Chooses not to drop a farmer there due to the limited potential thereof. And now a monastery tile for Slava. Again, the move here is just to go and equalize yellow's monastery. That is a very easy decision to make. And then on the next tile you go over here and take control of the fields. But he has shown his aversion towards monasteries. So the move that I expect to see, let's test my fortune telling skills. He's just gonna go over here and create a blocking platform. Oh, look at me! So it's not a particularly strong move, but one that makes sense. So the reason why it's not strong is just to waste the tile. But Yellow now coming back a little bit. He's finished an 8-point city, and he's also setting up a splitter tile to get himself a 10-point city here and a 4-point city here, or maybe even drop a farmer. But you know what? As Slava, we gotta recognize how important fields are. And if you were saving your last meeple, or not your last meeple, but 5 of your meeples that you didn't want to place in the monasteries for a special occasion, this has to be it. This 9-point field is here so good. It's threatening to become a 15-point field upon the completion of these cities, and that's why he wisely decides to drop a farmer. Yes, he's sacrificing himself for monastery point, but it's a good deed. It's a very good deed. But still, you still have to imagine if there's a monastery over here, and then this tile is over here, and there's a farmer over here. It's just like an even better position for Slava. Because yellow has absolutely ways to get back into the game. Yellow's going to finish his monastery, yellow's going to finish his city, and yellow is going to start dropping farmers and equalize the field. But not now. I think the best that he can do, as uninspiring as it is simply to go over here and continue his monastery. Slava gets himself a road meeple back as Auden chooses to start his city elsewhere. There's some possible reasons for this. But the reason I like going here with the city cap is because there's an idea of getting a splitter tile and getting away with a 6-point city. But the Chilean has other ideas. He simply wants to catch up on the scoreboard first. He doesn't care about meeples that much. He simply wants that scoreboard. So he just wants to get these 8 points as soon as he can. There's still plenty of city caps available. Slava at some point will be looking to go over here and create some blocking pressure against this square. But he just can't draw a tile that fits there. So easy 3 points available for the Ukrainian. And this is exactly what he does. 13 points extra, but not anymore as yellow finishes an 8-point city to limit his scoreboard lead to 5. One of the 3 remaining splitter tiles drawn. One of the 2 remaining splitter tiles actually drawn by Slava. So there's only 1 tile that's completed this meeple. And another farmer by Slava. Oh, this has to be pretty much close to devastating if you're Auden. So then you gotta wonder, like, how hard do you need to count on you getting this tile? This is an excellent farmer over here. Red just bullying his opponent with his meeple majority, and yellow decided that he cannot afford to sacrifice his meeple, that he still wants to try and get the 1 remaining tile into the square. And so he chooses to protect the meeple. And in fact, this is a very good protection move because there are really not many blocking ideas that could happen. So the only way that Slava could block the square is by drawing the 1 remaining horse tile, which he'd use to go over here. So in fact, there's only 1 blocking tile, which gives pretty decent chances for yellow to complete his city. But the problem for yellow, I guess, is that, okay, we complete the city, but what do we do then? Then we still have to find a way to drop 2 more farmers, and it's just not an easy task. Slava also gets a splitter tile. And you know what? I think it's not crazy to drop a 3rd farmer here. Because normally early in the game, you don't want to drop 3 farmers because then your opponents can win with an imbalance and just connect all your farmers and do other stuff. But with 19 tiles remaining, there are really not that many other things to do. So by going over here, for example, Red could take a super stronghold on the field, and with that probably leave almost no chances for Auden in this game. It also needs to be pointed out that there is still a road monastery available that could go over here and expand the main field to unreasonable proportions, incorporating the left part of the board as well, which also has this city in it and this city as well. Yellow could also in theory go over here and drop a farmer there and then still preserve that idea of the field unification. But I really like going over here just to localize his efforts. And it's also really annoying to deal with all these open city caps. Well, whilst he's thinking, let's just catch up on the... Nope. No catching up on other matches. No catching up on other matches. So he does go for the farm, which is an absolutely lovely find. I would have preferred like a slightly different orientation of the farmer, but that's okay. That's fine. Yellow tries to get himself some meeples back, but he will be thwarted immediately as Slava surely is looking to make a move like this, trying to make it much harder for the Ukrainian to finish his monastery. And this is exactly what happens. There's still 2 tiles that fit into that square. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe that's one of the ways for Aden to come back. Hey, check this out. How about... Okay, that's also possible, but how about we... I would have loved him to go over here. And then that way we're protecting this square, and then we're trying to get 2 daggers that would finish us this city. Or maybe, you know what? So if we're yellow, we want to go over here, meeple this 5-point road, and then we want to get the dagger over here to finish this 10-point city with just 1 move. Slava gets himself 2 points for a road, but it's a rather reluctant 2 points, as he's also limiting the potential of his own field, but his field is doing just fine, because even though Aden's going to get ahead on the scoreboard by finishing 2 cities and drawing the last city splitter, he's also giving with this move 12 field points for Slava, 6 points for these 2 cities. Okay, and 3 more points for this city here, because this farmer, you know what? He's scoring for this city and for this city, just as this farmer at the top. So yellow will still need to try and unify all the fields. In the meantime, Slava gets the dagger that he's hoping for the majority of the game to go over here. And now 12 tiles remaining and 5 meeples for Aden. So he's going for an imbalance. And he pretty much is going to need to spend a meeple like every turn. So what I think we do now, as the play with the yellow meeples, is we go here, and we either take the 6-point ruin or we take the 6-point field. He decides to go for the ruin, which makes a lot of sense. Slava gets a fantastic tile and 7 more points for himself. He could go over here for the new farm, but really there's just nothing wrong with 7 points. So it's going to be a difficult way to come back for Aden, but you know what? He has 7 points on the scoreboard. He has 7 points for the ruins over here. And he has 8 points for the monastery, so that's 22. Now, red has all the field. He has 12 points over here and 12 points over here, but that's 24, so that's really not a lot. And now Aden gets a fantastic tile. 6 points for the monastery and also a reduction of 6 points. Because now red has 3 farmers on the main field. And so he's not scoring twice for these cities anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 21 points actually is the value, total value of the field. So it still puts Slava ahead, especially after this move of his going to score 7 more points. I doubt if there's anything better. And he does get the points. Aden will be looking to position himself. No. Come on, man. Think longer. Think harder. He scored 6 points with the investment of a meeple. But why not go here and score 6 points without the investment of a meeple? You get a 1 point for the monastery, you get a meeple back, and you place that meeple back on a 5-point road. And then you can deal with the field a little bit later. Yeah, I think it's an imprecision. I guess this move makes sense because he's trying to just be faster on the field before his opponent, but this stuff was just stronger. Well, I guess I see why he didn't want to go there. Because there's still one more dagger that fit into the square. Maybe he did not want to leave this city up for grabs. Maybe actually that makes some sense. Let's think about this. But Slava has a 24-point field, so we need to be extra efficient with our tiles. Also, by the way, we now know that he would have completed that gigantic city. So that did not work well for the Chilean. The score should be pretty close, but it should still favor the Chilean if I'm not mistaken, because just 24 points are a bit too much to bear. It's close. It's very close. And now we've reached a part of the game where it's actually very difficult to invest meeples productively. All the 6-point fields are taken, all the ruins are taken, all the monasteries have been drawn. So I guess a way to score points would be maybe trying to invade the 6-point field. It's not crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's still 2 curves remaining, actually. So going here for an invasion, hoping for a curve, seems to be a productive endeavor to me. And it's not like Slava has any other things to do. So if he loves field so much, then why doesn't he want to prove it? I am going to expect a farmer. He's probably just picking between this spot or this spot. I would say that the bottom spot is slightly superior, but then also Aden can go over here and equalize and re-invade the field. Yeah, okay, he chooses this spot. Aden now is going to go over here. Or maybe not. Maybe he's going to just do something blocky instead, but this is the move that would make sense to me. He goes for a 40% block, and it works in the short term at the very least. Oh, never mind. There are no curves remaining. Yeah, I miscounted by 1. So there's actually nothing that fits into the square anymore. So that's a very nice block here by yellow. But that's okay, because this meeple ended up yielding 4 points. First of all, 3 points for this field. And second, 1 extra point for forcing Aden to spend a tile on the blocking move. And 4 points is about as good a move as you can make. Yeah, Slava really can't do much with this. I mean, he can get himself a 3-point road, I guess. Or he can just go here, build up his monastery. Let's see what he chooses. So at this point, with 4 tiles remaining, so we can see that 1 is in Aden's hand and 3 are in the deck. You want to solve those endgames. You want to know the precise number of remaining tiles. You want to know the precise points and so on. And pretty much, if you manage your time well, it should be enough to work through all the permutations. But his time has not been well managed. I feel like he spent time on some moves which were more natural. So for example, this move over here, he can spend, I think, some 30 seconds on deciding whether to take these 7 points. And as a result, he's now a bit short for time. So he goes for a 3-point field, which I think is a bit imprecision, because you really want to go for the 3-point road instead. The reason for this is that you can prolong your road. Oh, and a 6-point field. What a beautiful find here from Slava. Another option to score a farm. Will that be decisive? This might as well be. Aden. Ah, you know what? This is actually a very nice move from Slava here, because now... Yeah, never mind. No, it doesn't work. So I was thinking that Aden doesn't have a field to meeple. And maybe that was the point of this move. But in fact, Aden doesn't need a field. He can just simply score 3 points over here. This is the highest that he can score. And that is exactly what he does. Another city cap for Slava. He simply discards it. So he does score 1 fewer point than he could have. If only Slava were to have gone over here and meepled the 3-point road, he would have been able to continue his road with the last butterfly tile. So 1 more point was possible for the Ukrainian. Let's see if it makes any difference at all. So Slava is a lot of points behind, but he's now going to be getting all of those beautiful field points. But is that gonna be enough? And no. Yes! Oh, look at this. 2 points. 2 points is the difference. So the 1 extra missed point from Slava is not going to matter. Still excellent effort from Auden, trying to come back with all the field. But I think this 1 inefficiency cost him. If only he were to gamble a little bit harder, if he were to use this dagger over here for 6 points like this, then he would have scored for the city and won this game. So that was a very nice idea. It just ended up falling a little bit short. Anyway, this seems to be entertaining, so I'm going to stick with this pair for a little bit longer, and after this matchup is over, then we're going to find out the scores for all the other duels. So Slavafield wins, and now we're headed into a decider. Hi, Nepamai. Okay, they haven't started the game yet, so maybe we can catch up on something else. So Max DK does win again and bring Ukraine their first match points. Let's see maybe how Spitki is doing, a new Ukrainian master. And they have... Huh, that's interesting. So they've played 1 game against Martin Perez. And then they went online. Offline, I mean. So really, really interesting what happened there. Both of them went online, so we really don't know whose fault is it. Hopefully everything is okay with both players. So I'm going to mark Spitki as the current leader in that duel, but they will need to finish that duel at some point. Anyway, back to our original pairing. Have they started? And yeah, I know they haven't. Elias is asking, is Slava short for Vladislav, Yaroslav, Borislav? Actually, kind of, Slava is short for anything that ends with Slav, most commonly Vyacheslav. But the actual name of Slava, I don't know. Because many other names ending with Slav have other short versions. For example, Yaroslav is sometimes Yarik, Boguslav is sometimes Bogush. It also kind of depends on which language you are, because like there are names ending in Slav, in like Polish, Russian, Ukrainian, and then it depends on which language you're speaking, and so if they're getting yourself a different short version. It's complicated. Anyway, so these are still yet to start. Okay, no, finally. Finally, we're having ourselves the decider, I think. Okay, there we go. So now the Chilean has the rights to be the starting player, starts a city, immediately getting delayed by the one and only legal move by Slava. Yellow is not in a rush to meeple the road just yet. Maybe is afraid of getting 2 meeples blocked. Slava tries to invade the city, and now we're going to see a standard response of going over here and simply trying to possibly block the square, enter into a winning mini battle where red is scoring just 1 point and yellow is scoring a boatload. Slava, with the crossroad tiles, has 3 legal placements, 2 reasonable placements. The one that I prefer is probably going over here and going for a loop road. Going over here is also possible, just starting a longer road like this. It's a very subtle difference between the two. He goes for the longer road. As long as it meeples something. Okay, this... Oof, it's rather painful to watch. It's just a big, big mistake. There is absolutely no reason to leave this road empty. Like, imagine if yellow draws a curve, then yellow just takes 4 points. Like, why are you donating your opponent 4 points? And this unwillingness to use meeples productively is something that has hurt Slava in both of his games. The second game made it a bit too close than he would have wanted, and in the first game he even lost as a result of being a bit too stingy. Okay, so now a great option for Slava. Actually, 2 options. He can go over here and meeple this road, which goes through yellow's monastery, or he can even do this and prepare to draw a crossroad tile and get himself 2 roads, and he goes for it. Actually, a very nice find here by the Ukrainian. So the initial stinginess is not going to cost him, as simply yellow failed to draw a road tile to claim that road. Finally, Reds claims it. Wait. Okay. Red is now playing a move which I don't think makes any sense. So the idea of this move, he starts a new city, but why does he want to block his own city? Is he afraid of invasion or something? Why not just start a new city over here? Or you know what? I think I can explain it. Like, sometimes there is this brain glitch that I have, that I see my own city and I think of it as my opponent's and I start blocking it. So maybe that is what happened. But we can see that spectacularly his sequence works out very, very well, as Aden was trying to block this square, but unsuccessfully. Slava got himself a tile to not only bring 1 but bring 2 meeples over here. There are 3 tiles that fit into this square, and you'll be looking forward to basically not only overtake the city but also complete it. He's now defends the square successfully. There's still all 3 daggers available over here. He's gonna get himself a meeple back probably. And now Aden is in dire straits here. And also because Ukraine is the favorites on so many other tables due to their experienced players, I kind of feel like this duel between Aden and Slava would be crucial for Chile's chances to win the match. So a good thing that yellow has going for him is the monastery cluster. There is a bit of danger, maybe like a big tile over here and a straight line over here could lead to this blocked square, which could block 3 of yellow's meeples, but it doesn't happen very often. And for example, if yellow gets himself 1 more monastery over here, then that's it. It's the nuts. It would be an amazing position, so much so that yellow can even afford this red city being completed. So these monasteries plus this 8-point city, they're just so good. Thank you, Yaroslav, for Yaroslav, who's not Slava, confirming that Vyacheslav was indeed the full version for Slava. And speaking of Slava, he's now going a very interesting route. So he's actually trying to finish his city quite quickly, but I'm not sure if that's the most efficient way of doing so. So there's still 2 daggers that fit into the square. And actually, I think mathematically, Slava is no longer the favorite to finish the city, because look at this. So he needs 1 of 3 tiles over here. That's, let's say, 88-ish%. And then he needs 1 more over here. That's also 88. And that's also, and then he needs 1 of 2 daggers over here. So that's 75. You times all those things together, and you actually barely get 50. Plus the chances of Aden going over here and trying to block this square, especially after drawing 1 of the crucial tiles that fit over here. I think I'm not that afraid of the city anymore if I'm yellow. So yellow calmly finishes his road. Doesn't bother about going to block just yet. Still, Slava has the option of finishing the city. But then also, if he doesn't, the monasteries of Aden are so likely to be completed that in addition to all of those beautiful points, they're also going to give him a meeple back and a long-term meeple majority, which yellow can use to overrun the field. So I'm really, really liking the Chilean's position over here, who now goes for the blocking idea and sacrifices a couple of points, but a dagger immediately drawn by Slava. He doesn't even need to get a defense tile. So that is now quite lovely. There are 2 tiles that go over here. There are 3 tiles that go over here. And the chances of him completing the city are now nearly 60%. It's somewhere between 55 and 60. And also, it's now not possible to block that city anymore. So if I'm Aden, I'm looking to start gathering compensation, a crucial move which you absolutely have to make. Well, first of all, it's stuff like this. That's a very nice find, preventing invasions and blocks, still banking 1 of the 5 remaining triple city tiles that would go over here, and that would finish the city for him. Certainly a nice tactical idea. The couple of loose city caps are maybe not ideal, but we can pick those up a little bit later. Well, certainly Slava can pick 1 of them up. Maybe the other one will go to Aden. Oh, but anyway, my point. In order to seize control of this game, 1 crucial move that Aden needs to make, that is going to be to go over here with a curve and meeple this road for insurance. To just get the 6-point compensation for this road once red draws the dagger. Because if yellow doesn't go over here, then suddenly red's going to go over here with a meeple on the road, and then red's going to have those extra points. So going over here before yellow, or going over here before your opponent, that will constitute a 12-point swing potentially. This is going to decide who's going to get this 6-point road. This does not seem to be a good move to go there first. Well, actually, it's not that bad. You go over here, you not allow your opponent to take this road, and then you kind of maybe put a bit of pressure on this square. That's an option. But then going over here and simply meepling a city for potentially 8 points seems like the way to go. There's a third option over here, taking a 5-point road, putting a tiny bit of pressure on Aden city, but I really hate leaving shielded tiles lying around. Instead, he goes for blocking idea, which I strongly dislike. It's just not the right tile to be doing this, and Aden gets the world, really. Aden gets a fantastic tile. So he first of all defends, leaving himself 3 cow tiles, so 3 triple city tiles, which are distinct from the type of the triple city tile that Slava needs. So it is incredibly unlikely that the city is not going to be completed. The downside of this move, of course, is that it's kind of delays these monasteries, but not really. The only 2 tiles which is possible to block would be the vanilla city cap. So let's say if a vanilla city cap is drawn by red then this square would be blocked because there are no vanilla city caps remaining. In that hypothetical scenario, 4 of them have already been drawn. And of course, if red draws a road monastery, goes over here, then there would be no more road monasteries remaining to fit into this square. But other than that, there's really not that much. I love this move by Slava, by the way. So he now recognizes that yellow needs a monastery over here, including a road monastery. So instead, he creates a spot on the board where he can use the road monastery himself. In fact, only he can use it over here, because if yellow gets a road monastery, yellow not going to go over here. Yellow going to go over here. Slava now gets himself a blocking idea, which is kind of nice. I mean, it is, of course, a volatile position that a lot in this situation depends on who draws the road monastery. So if Slava gets it, he gets the 9 points over here. If yellow gets it, yellow gets 9 points over here and 2 meeples back. Yeah, that's really not an ideal thing to be doing. Actually, you know what? I wonder if it's worth for Slava to get himself some insurance. If he could actually go over here, get himself a 4-point road, and say to yellow, you know what? If you're going to get a road monastery, then you will be forced to give me a 5-point road back. He could also go over here instead, drop a farmer, and try to put some additional pressure on this city. Red's field is really, really good. It looks like it is going to need a second farmer at some point. But his options are not exhausted there. He could go over here, simply preparing the 9-spot monastery spot for himself. Instead, he makes a move creating a blocking platform on the left that actually does look quite potent, because there's only one left-handed dagger remaining. So with one more straight line, Slava would be limiting Odin's options to just 50-50. Red with a Dorito tile and a lot of meeples, but really not a great way to use these meeples. I guess you want to just not allow your opponent to get city caps and complete the city. Yeah, he does go for the invasion. Seems like the logical thing to be doing. A city cap for Odin. Now, it doesn't make sense really to go over here, but he does this anyway. And I wonder why he does this. I think his idea is that he wants to get the last remaining split chart tile and get himself a 10-point city. Slava gets the dagger and also meeples a 6-point road, which is huge for him. He's now preparing to finish this big, big city. Odin spends his last meeple on a monastery, looking to either get a road plus road combo to get a meeple back, or maybe get a triple city, or maybe get a city cap, or simply get a meeple back after Slava finishes this big city. So still plenty of options to recover meeples for the player in yellow. Slava with the monastery. Now, it's actually not obvious whether he should meeple it. Now, I know for a fact that he won't, but then we're really going to think how meepling the monastery is going to fare for our winning chances. I mean, going over here does look juicy. It says 6 points. It is completable. There's still 2 more tiles that go over here. And you can draw some massively, massively good combos. Actually, I think I kind of like it. And also, since our opponent does not have meeples, it's not that important for us to protect the field. Because from Red's perspective, the main reason why you would want to keep meeples in hand is to protect your field from invasions. But if your opponent doesn't have meeples, they can't invade. Now, of course, he does not meeple the monastery because that's something that Slava never does. He gets some marginal value out of it. He actually does prepare a blocking platform. And not only is that a blocking platform, it is making it harder for yellow to develop his monastery. Yellow now makes a severely misguided move. He was looking for a place to discard the tile, but he uses it in such a way that takes away a potential field invasion platform from him. So Aden gets himself a meeple back as a result of winning the coin flip for the road monastery. But Slava now immediately going to have himself 5 more points for the road. And also because Aden didn't have any meeples, he's not able to meeple this new monastery, and this is something he would have absolutely loved. Also, I'm surprised that Red with this move chose to partially block this meeple instead of this here meeple, which I think is much more dangerous. And now it seems to me that Red maybe is thinking of not taking these 5 points. Maybe he's thinking of making a partial block. But man, you can't be sacrificing 5 points. It's way, way, way too much, man. And Slava concurs. Gets himself closer on the scoreboard. It's a very, very even game. So a dagger for Aden. He gets himself a meeple back. Ahead on the scoreboard. 12 points. And now it's still a game. So now Slava goes for the dangerous move. And he's going to pay the price again. He connects to the city and Aden immediately reinvades. So Slava is going to get himself the big city, but he's going to lose another city. So what was the point? Oh, Slava. So let's see how much it's worth. 28 points plus 2 points for the road. That's really, really good. Look at this. It looks like he's in control of the game. 18 points extra, right? Control of the field, all the meeples. But Yellow is threatening to like win the game on the spot. I don't know. Yellow is trying to invade the field. Slava is probably looking to go here actually and maybe try and make some blocking attempts against this invasion. And now you know what? Like this move looks like a genius move because it's going to prevent Yellow from drawing over here and dropping a counter farmer, Red rather. But Red can still go over here with a different tile and use this field attacking platform. So we're not in a rush necessarily. A move that I like here from Slava is either going over here at the top or maybe even better, going over here and trying to, first of all, block this monastery, which is still completable, and then set up a field connection platform at the bottom. The more field connection platforms, the better for the side that has more meeples and the chance to use those platforms. Red, with 1 minute and 45 seconds on his clock. Should be enough time to figure out where he stands in this game situation. And he does indeed go for the ruin in addition of trying to make the block. This is going to allow Aden to save his monastery, which I don't think he should have done. I would have simply preferred scoring 4 points over here. So now a chance for Slava to engage in blocking. I presume this is the move that he was hoping for. Or actually, it doesn't even accomplish that much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what? There's still 3 curves remaining. So by going over here, he does limit Aden's field connection option. This is actually really nice. And Aden, in turn, tries to preserve himself the chances of connecting with a Dorito tile. That's because he's not counting. Oh, wait, no, there's a splitter available. So there are no vanilla city caps, there are no Doritos, and the only tile available that fits into the square is a splitter, which of course would be a game changer. Slava is saying in the chat that he got himself 3 cow tiles, which Aden needed over here. And he could just keep scoring, really. Or maybe looking to make some spatial move, maybe going over here, eliminating a fields connection. Not that he has to do that necessarily. He just simply keeps scoring. Auden gets himself a monastery meeple back and scores for this lovely, lovely setup. Gets himself a 6-point road. So he does end up scoring more than what I would have suggested. Slava probably looking to go over here. Get himself one more farmer just in case, because the field is so big that you can't have too many meeples ensuring it. Auden is still threatening to get a splitter and to connect over here. Auden is also threatening to get the last remaining road Dorito and connect over here. So from Red's perspective, we need to have some route to outrun Yellow City over here, which I think we can still do. So let's say this ruin equals this road. This monastery, yeah, it's kind of compensates the scoreboard almost. Auden with an interesting decision. He gets himself a crossroad tile. And he could do one of the several possible ways. So we can go here and get a meeple back. But with 5 tiles remaining, there's really no particular reason for us to get a meeple. We could go over here and score 4 points. But then it's not obvious how big of a difference these 4 points are going to make for his win percentage. But there were more moves available. He could go over here and reduce the chances of Slava connecting to the field. Actually, that would have been, I think that would have been a complete block even. Because I don't think we have any straight lines remaining. So yes, he could have blocked this farmer. But he decides that he doesn't want to do it. He simply gets himself a meeple back. But then I wonder, why does he need the meeple so much? Okay, so the city connection has been completed. And I think it was way, way premature. Instead of connecting to the city, he should have decided. He should have just thought, can he even win with that connection? Because I think what he needs to wait in particular for the one tile that does not only connect him to the city, but also finishes the city instantly. And that would have been enough. Yeah, so I think it was actually a bit of a misjudgment. So probably a way to win for Auden was simply to bank everything on this here tile. Although we now know that Slava would have gotten himself a splitter. But you know, then we get a meeple back, we get 4 extra points and so on. We get to equalize our opponent's farm. Yeah, it's not obvious. So Slava should be winning this game because again, his field is just too big. Know that in all 3 games he ended up having a big field and Auden was trying to go for an imbalance. But it only really worked in the first game. So that's something to think about for the Chilean player, like how to better combat big fields of your opponent. I can't see Slava possibly losing this unless he makes a mistake, which he doesn't. Oh, wait, but Auden gets an option to complete his city. Okay. Hey. This city is actually a lot of points. Well, Slava's going to score 4, but that's not going to be enough. Or is it? Oh man, it's going to be so close. He has like the big field. He has the ruin. But Auden has 20 points extra on the scoreboard and the better monastery. So Vyacheslav and just, I'm going to assume Filatov, because Phil is the most common last name that starts with Phil, is about to score 4 points. 1 for the city and 3 for the road. And Auden is going to score 3 as well. For this road, or for a field, or for anything for that matter. I don't see any 4-point moves. Yeah, 3-point road indeed for the Chilean, and now it's time to count the points. I know that my most astute viewers are already completing the calculations in their heads, but let's just follow and pretend like we don't know. In case I'm not pretending I actually don't know, so all the city points for red and all the field points for red, but it appears to not be enough. Oh, are you kidding me? 1 point is the difference. Man, that is incredible. Aden Laceres pulls a rabbit out of the hat by finishing this here city. And also know that the thing that I was suggesting of him waiting for this Dorito tile would not have worked. He had to do specifically what he did so that he not only finishes the city, but he also makes it a couple of points bigger. So I think that was also the rationale behind this move as well. Beautiful, beautiful play here. And also the nature of the remaining tiles was such that after this here move with the horse tile, it was not actually possible to accomplish a 100% block or an invasion against the city. So congratulations to Chile here. Commiserations to Slava, but still a solid performance on his first ever international appearance. And Chile finally gets on the match scoreboard. So, who else are we gonna watch? Let's see how Brother Robin is going against Gattuso. And the reason I want to check this is because I haven't seen any of these players play yet. Well, Brother Robin, as the more experienced Ukrainian, successfully asserts his rating and wins both of the games. Let's check table number 4. It also should be interesting. Trinidadians, which means somebody from Trinidad and Tobago in particular has won against Roy Trio, was one of the key matchups. Roy Trio, a Chilean expert. So Ukraine is doing really, really well in this match. Let's see how things are going on table 1, maybe. Because Claudio Jarquera is probably the strongest Chilean player on the entire lineup. And even he ended up losing 2 against 1. So Ukraine's being really, really powerful here. Whoops, I put it wrong. So the only 2 pairings, let's look at Tor UA, another player whom I have not witnessed just yet. And they have lost against Tio Arbolito, and again, another new player who's rated only 215. That's a very, very big win for Tio here. And finally, Ransom 23 versus Jorguera. Wait. And the Ukrainian wins, and with that 5 matches, 5 duels have been won by Ukraine, and so they're the winner of this match regardless of what happens on table number 8. I just want to see if they manage to finish the game, and no, they're not coming back. So I'm gonna assume that Spitke gonna win this because they're ahead anyway. Hopefully everything okay with both players. Wait, that's actually very interesting. So what does he say in his bio? Hi, I developed a tile counter as a Chrome extension, tile tracker. Please use it for training purposes only. It is restricted in competition. Certainly something that I'm gonna have to check out for streams, actually. Do let me know in the chat, would you enjoy the streams more if you were able to see all the remaining tiles at all times? Something that I would be curious to know. In any case, congratulations to Ukraine, who has won this, and we're moving straight away to our second match, which has started already some time ago. So first of all, I'm gonna just pull up the lineups on the screen. I'm gonna do this. Hopefully it should work. Nope, I should pull it a little bit further. Whoops, pulled it a little bit too far. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, that's close enough. Let me just slightly improve it. So Finland against Hungary. The two countries that speak a language from the same language family, and this should be really interesting because Hungary has the greater reputation as being world number 3, as they finished 3rd in the 2024 World Team Carcassonne Online Championship. But actually I would expect Finland to be the slight favorite in this particular match due to the 3 masters on the lineup. Nauerheim, Larpaattori, and Lapinkoski have all achieved a rating of 700 at some point. So whom shall we watch? Let's actually watch... I need to make a decision real quick. Larpaattori should be pretty interesting against Stilla Varga with the screen name Valic. CHILE Varga, rather. So, Valitz. How are they doing? And actually, the Hungarian expert has won the first game and they have barely started the second. Also, interestingly, on table number 1, Nauerheim against Eater, they actually are starting their duel a little bit later than all the others. In fact, half an hour later. So at the end of the match, we will be watching Nauerheim against Eater. So for starters, let's just watch everybody else. Or maybe not. I mean, it looks just exceptionally good for CHILE here, as she's 20 points ahead on the scoreboard, and can't really Larpaattori do anything about it. Lauri Leppänen in a difficult position here. 20 points behind, but he still has a chance. You know how this city over here, he's threatening to get a cow or a horse and try to overtake this city. That's pretty much his only chance. Now, if he gets this tile in a timely manner, then I think he's going to do quite well. The city is going to give him more than 20 points, and he's going to be right back in it. And that's why he decides that he's going to bank on it. And he sacrifices a point to simply try and restrict Yellow's options. He's trying to prevent a Hungarian meeple over here. He even meeples the road, which is a bit aggressive, a bit extra even. CHILE now just keeps scoring, wants to connect to Lauri's road, but actually, if you're Lauri, then you really like seeing this, because this meeple was a bit difficult to get it back, and now that the roads are tied, you're not really interested in getting those meeples back. So he finishes a city, get himself a meeple back, and with that, I think we're going to see the decisive events in this game and in this duel happen right now. Because before Lauri can draw a triple city tile, CHILE gets herself a city meeple and equalizes over here. Yeah, very rough situation. So I guess the only real chance for red here is to go over here with something like a starting tile, invade here with a triangle, and then get the quadruple city tile over here and finish an even larger city. Or, you know, maybe just try and finish some cities, get some meeples back, get a monastery, get a field. There's also this other option as well. So I wouldn't quite discount Lowry. He's a very skilled player. He has been progressing really fast. He's the latest of the 3 Finnish master. Of course, Nallerheim has been a master for a couple of years or maybe even more. Now, of course, to rub it in, Lowry gets himself a triple city tile, which you can just visualize it over here. But you can't. You can't anymore. Instead, he still finds a good move, blocks Chile's cities, or at the very least makes it much harder for her to complete. And if I'm Chile, I'm probably going to go here. Just simply treat the city like a ruin and leave just a smallish chance for us to go over here and complete it with one of the 2 daggers plus some sort of starting tile, maybe. There's some other options. We can simply start a new city somewhere, but I don't see any great options. She just continues her city as normal, which also makes sense, but there are some downsides to this move. The main one is that it creates a very good monastery spot for Lowry to use. In the meantime, Red is just building up his 6-point road, trying to desperately catch up on the scoreboard, and Chile with a great find, going for a giant loop of 10 points, and it's something that's so difficult to prevent because there are multiple routes for the 2 yellow meeples to abuse this hard-working Finnish red meeple of Lowry. So the plan for Red is just to abandon this road and simply get some tiles to score more, and he does. 7 points for the monastery, looking to get some more monasteries. Chile gets herself a 2-point road rather than a monastery, interestingly. Wants to preserve herself the meeples for something better. Lowry finishes the city and starts a new one. Inching closer at that scoreboard. Chipping away. Oh, he doesn't even choose to meeple a city cap, which I actually rather like, and I think his idea is that if Chile goes here, takes 4 points, that he will be later able to go over here and try and block this square. Yellow, in the meantime, with the interesting decision to help Lowry finish his road, but to shorten Lowry's road in the process. So she takes 3 points. Lowry gets 5 instead of 6, which he would have gotten had he finished the road himself. Larpattori with a Dorito tile, probably looking to start cleaning off that city cap and putting additional pressure on this square. This square doesn't really matter that much because there's still the route to go up top, well, especially after this move. But you know, it's still worth trying because in some scenarios you get a straight line that goes over here, and then you cut off this route, and then you could just straight up draw crossroads that go to the top, and then you've cut the other route. The chances are small, but you know, they're not non-existent, and yellow now can go over here. After a bit of hesitation, she can drop a farmer, but chooses not to do so. Wants to preserve the farmers for something else. Larpattori. Trying to build himself a 12-point city, or even more. There's a potential chance of an invasion of this city, maybe from this square, but there are really not many tiles that are useful for this square. Lowry with a crossroads. Some players would be tempted to go over here, which I think would be a rather bad move, because there are just so many curves for your opponent to connect that you just want to concede this road and do something else. But it's a bit of a dilemma here. So the standard equity move in this position is to go over here, score 2 points, and also block our opponent's side of the city, so that we never reach a situation where we don't get the quadruple city tile and then they get to expand, 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 expand. But if we go over here, then we also give up on the idea of us getting a starting tile and then invading through here and through here. And that's why Red chooses to score 2 points in a different location and try to put additional pressure on CHILE. And this move also induces a mistake. What CHILE should do here, she should completely ignore this threat and simply connect to the road, possibly even dropping a farm already, just cashing in on those points. Because, you know, there's still a lot that could happen over here, and yes, most of the time you still get it, but it's just very nice to cash in on those points. A move that could have been tempting for her was going over, over here and trying to defend that square. In the meantime, Lauri with another dilemma. The strongest move that I see is just going over here and preparing another monastery spot. And this is what I think Lauri should really do. But it's also super tempting to go over here and simply block. No! What is that? What is that? Okay, we can see that the Fit is typing this in the chat. He probably had some sort of a hallucination, but indeed, this is the appropriate response. This is the appropriate way to handle this move. He says, guess I'm tired. Yeah, that would be one explanation. So, not only does he not go for his monastery, he also helps her opponent's city, protects his opponent's city, and then also sacrifices a meeple on a 4-point road which goes through her city. Anyway, so this is of course a rather painful thing, but you know what? There's still a way to get out of it. Larpator is saying, thankfully just a friendly match, but you know, I've seen worse blunders in some actual tournaments, so don't you worry about it, Lauri. Yeah, but basically, here's a way to make this right. We try and invade the city, and later we get the dagger to get our road meeple back. So something like this. And you know what? Surprisingly, this game is still manageable. First of all, there is still the threat of going over here and taking over the city. Faint though it may be. And we can still get a monastery over here to score. You know, 6 points. Then we can also drop a farmer over here. We can use our meeple majority. Like, we can still do things if we're allowed here. Also know that CHILE has invested on both fields, justifiably so. This guy scoring 9 points, has a ginormous number of green squares. And now look at this. Larpator gets himself the quadruple city tile, unifies all the cities. And now he's threatening to go over here. So as CHILE, you really want to go here and either invade herself, which I think would be a bit extra. So a more cautious move would be simply using the curvy part of the tile to just block the square. But you never know. She might be tempted to do something else, but the good thing that she has going for her in this particular spot is that there's just no other good move to make. She doesn't need this tile for anything else. Now, if this tile were something like a road monastery, then that would be a different question. But it isn't. "14 points extra on the scoreboard." So all she really needs to do is just to prevent some disastrous scenarios, and then she's gonna be fine. Because even if Larpator keeps scoring, there are limits to how much he can score. Okay, he can get 1 more monastery, maybe 2 more monasteries. Yeah, okay, he can get 2 more monasteries, and some farming options. This was an imprecision by Larpator. It was better to take 2 points over here. The reason why it was better to take these 2 points over here is because this move is protecting this square a little bit too much. And in the future, we might have to use this square to block the city of our opponent that we so generously saved earlier. Now there's only one more platform. There's only this platform remaining to block this city, right? But if CHILE gets herself a city cap and scores 4 points over here, then suddenly this square would also be restricted, and then it will be just very difficult for us to find a way to invade the city or to block it. So these subtle things that really add up. In any case, still 14 points behind on the scoreboard, and Larpator with a Dorito. And really not a productive move available to him. So I wonder if we can... Okay, that's actually could work. So he makes a bit of a risky play. He sacrifices the integrity of his monastery. In fact, if CHILE were to draw any city plus road tile, she could go over here and limit the square towards the 0 remaining vanilla city cap tiles. But inspiration, he just knew that he was going to get the road monastery, so he took care of the farmer first and then got himself the monastery. Okay, now it's a game, equalizing the farms, only 5 points behind, still a meeple extra. CHILE is now thinking of going over here. That would be actually pretty interesting. So she would be prolonging her city and making it quite easy to complete, but she would be not guaranteeing herself the completion of the city. So she decides not to go for it. She simply wants to take 4 points. And then maybe decide what to do with the city later. But Larpator is now building up his monastery. He's also setting up a road monastery to go into this square. It looks like the Finn would really be capable of turning this around. CHILE with a scoring tile. With only 1 meeple available to her, she should be rejoicing at every scoring tile she gets. I presume that's 2 points on the left is the move for her. For this road over here. It's a bit of a tougher question. What are you going to do with the city tile? How exactly to orientate it? She chooses to restrict it, so that it is a bit harder for Larpator to use the city cap to pick up some empty points. But it's also harder for CHILE as well. But she doesn't have to really use the city cap. She could just go over here, build up her monastery, drop a city cap in her field, and threaten an 8-point move. 1 for the monastery, 4 for the city, and 3 for the farmer. So at some point, Lowry should go over here, or somewhere else for that matter. Maybe here somehow, if that's at all possible. I don't think it is. Yeah, I guess it's just going over here and trying to invade the field. Because these 9 points are looking pretty juicy. In addition to CHILE's 11 extra points on the scoreboard. So all she really needs to do is just to avoid the disaster scenario. I think it's a bit extra. So she drops a farmer a little bit prematurely. And look at this. Lowry is going for the road monastery. And he also pre-builds an 8-point city. Taking advantage of the fact that CHILE doesn't have meeples to capitalize on it, but she's going to complete the field invasion. I think it's a bit too extra. I mean, she should have been just fine going over here and continuing the build-up of her field, but now Lowry really has a chance in this. A road monastery would give him a lot of points. It would give him the equality on this field. and he would still have an extra meeple to fight for this field. So that is pretty interesting. So CHILE chooses to simply build up her field at the top rather than connecting all the fields. And I wonder how Lowry's going to deal with that. He could go over here, perhaps. Maybe trying to block this square a little bit further. And actually, let me think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It doesn't quite work. There's still one straight line remaining. But if he goes over here, he can hope that he's going to draw both the straight line and the road monastery. The straight line simply for the sake of CHILE not connecting over here. The road monastery for the sake of him connecting himself. And then he'd probably have enough points to win. But you know, from CHILE's perspective, actually, I really still have to like Yellow's position just because she has the scoreboard points even after Lowry finishes the monastery, and she's going to connect to the field. But Lowry now has to go for it. The move that he needs to find is going over here with a third farmer, trying to bet all of his game on the road monastery. And yes, he does find it, but it is CHILE who gets the road monastery. So not only will Larpattori not equalize the main field, he will lose it. So 12 points over here, because both of these farmers are going to end up scoring 0. Still was a very, very nice find by Lowry. That was a 24-point swing potentially. But it is CHILE who's going to draw the best tile in Carcassonne and just use it to score 1 point. Larpattori, of course, gets plus 11. You know, that's something. 8 points for the city, 3 points for his field. To give that farmer some semblance of a respectable score. And now all that CHILE needs to do is simply not lose on time. Also, note this little imprecision. She should have turned the monastery over here with a straight line pointing up. Then she could have used this tile to give herself 1 extra monastery point. In this particular game, it won't matter, but in a different game, it could have. You know, we've seen a game being decided by 1 point. We've seen another game being decided by 2 points earlier today in the CHILE versus Ukraine match. So the main thing that she's got to do, just don't lose on time. She simply prevents a potential field invasion. That's actually pretty smart. And the only thing that Larpattori can do is just score 4 points for a city, really. Either for the city at the top or for the city at the bottom. There are no possible ways to commit the field invasion. Well, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait. There is actually. We can go over here and invade that field because I think there's a curve remaining. We could drop a farmer like this and connect to this 9-point field at the very least, and then we're talking suddenly. But he just knew. He just knew that he was not going to draw a curve. And instead he just discards the tile or possibly pre-builds a... Yeah, that was definitely a bit imprecise here. Not that it really matters. 3 points for the city at the end, which could have been 5. But ultimately, the road monastery was the tile that sealed the deal in this game. It's very interesting how Lowry was behind 20 points on the scoreboard and he lost the big road on the left, but nevertheless, chances until the end of the game, despite the fact that he accidentally self-blocked his meeple. Now this situation over here, 24-point swing. And as we can see over here, the game was decided by less than 24 points. A lot of Pottori saying that one blunder ruined the game for me. Not really, actually. Surprisingly, even after that blunder, there were plenty of chances for the Finn as a result of managing to build up here and here and here, really not giving up towards the end. There's also quite interesting something that when you get yourself in a bad position, there are players who just focus so hard and play better than they normally do. And I'm actually one of those players. So when I'm in a bad position, I typically play slightly better and more precisely compared to when I'm in a good position. Because like when you're in a bad position, the survival mode kicks in. It's like, I have to. Like that desperation. And then you find out stuff like this, and who knows, with a road monastery might have had a completely different outcome. But this is the outcome that we have. We congratulate Team Hungary on their first match points, and now we're going to see what's going to happen in those other games. So Tiukku versus Corrales. There'll be something interesting to see. And that matchup has already concluded in the favor of the more experienced Hungarian player. So let's see how... Wait. No. Chz. I'm pretty sure that Chz is how you pronounce this. And this one goes for Finland. 2-0 for Ilkka. So how is our third Finnish master Lapinkoski doing? Well, they're playing a decider. Isn't that interesting? Against Robbie L, whom I also have not shown on this channel just yet. Wait, Robbie L, by the way, is Robert Iles, if my pronunciation is correct. Anyway, so this one looks pretty good for Finland. Despite the fact that some blocked meeples are in place. Also know that it is a must-win situation for Finland because Hungary has already won 2 duels. A third duel one would give them the win in this match. And actually, after Robert finished his monastery, the situation no longer looks good for the Finn. Yeah, sure, he is like a few points ahead on the scoreboard, but he has a meeple blocked. And in an open position like this one, there's a big farm, a meeple advantage could be a really, really big deal. So first of all, he has a meeple blocked over here for 5 points. He has a meeple over here, which is very close to being blocked for 3 points, although he could still really try and finish the city and maybe forced Robert to invade over here. And then without meeples, what he's left with is parity on this field. There are 2 red farmers, 2 blue farmers, and there are already 5 completed cities on it. So with 15 points, it is the most valuable feature on the board. And Lapinkoski decides to go for the farm immediately. And look at this. I think the game plan for him is to do something truly spectacular. So the idea is that he wants to win this field despite the meeple minority and then play the field geometry in such a way that would allow him to prevent field invasions from his opponents. And Robert, with a fantastic response, He realizes the narrowing window of opportunity. He sees what Lopinkoski is up to. And he drops a farmer in response. And the reason why this works, there's now no way for red to invade through here without also helping blue to invade, because 1, 2, 3, 4, all the crossers that could have gone over here have gone out. So, of course, there's also the way to invade over here, but Robert takes care of that as well, dropping another farmer. That's just beautiful play from the Hungarian. And like, what do you even do if you're Lopinkoski? I think I know what you do. Well, I mean, after this, oh boy. Before this move, I was gonna say you just don't complete any invasions. And you simply try and, you know, preserve the parity on the field and just score points to stay ahead of your opponent. But how are you gonna do that now? Because you know there's also another problem. There's this monastery spot, which is so easy to fill, especially if you're Robert and you have disposable meeples. Robert with a scoring tile, but not an obvious decision. You could go over here, score a couple of points, or go over here and not score any points, but make it a bit harder for red to block this invasion square. And this is exactly what he does. He figures that it is better for his win probability to preserve himself a chance to invade the field like this, rather than scoring immediate points. Now Lopinkoski is in trouble. What is his win plan? So I think first of all we really want to block the square regardless, and there's still some tiles available for that technically. For example, there's this crosser that we really want. But another thing, yeah, now we really don't have a win path, do we? Because Robert successfully connects. And what Lopinkoski is now going to do, I have no idea. There's still 3 tiles that fit into the square, so he's going to need to draw all 3 monasteries and then not put them there. So you know what? I think there was a different win plan which you should have gone for. With this straight line, you should have gone over here, which, yes, that would have allowed Robert into the field. But then, as Lopinkoski, we're going to try and draw a 9-point monastery before our opponent. We're going to use it for scoring. And then later, with our last meeple, we're going to use this platform to equalize the farm. And then we hope that the 9 monastery points, plus the scoreboard lead, plus these extras, give us enough of a cushion that justify spending the game without meeples towards the end. So let's see if Robert completes the invasion. I'm actually not sure that they should go there, but this is very interesting, because like if you go over here, yes, you get your field majority, but then you allow Lopinkoski to go over here, take the 9 point, and then still have a meeple to invade over here. So this is an absolutely brilliant move by Robert. So he decides to not invade the field, to delay the invasion of the field, to prevent that exact idea. That is truly amazing awareness of the board geometry. Really not something that I would expect a player of his rating achieve. And only now does he get the regular monastery. He's going to go over here. He's going to go ahead and meeple it for 8 points. And in this situation, because he delayed the monastery and he was okay with even sacrificing a meeple, and he was okay with not getting the extra monastery point by delaying the straight line, just because now the board geometry is favorable. There are no real good field invasions anymore. Well, I guess maybe there's some ways of going over here somehow, or maybe, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are no even curves. There are no curves that go here, so... But you know what? Maybe. Yes, 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 yes. That's a brilliant, brilliant move by Lapinkoski, and this is exactly the one chance that he has. What he's trying to do, he's trying to preserve this city because there's still one butterfly tile available for him to go over here, score 8 points for the city, make the field even larger, and then later somehow try a platform to invade the field. This is an absolutely beautiful move here. So as Robert, what exactly do you do? I think I know what you do. First of all, you leave it alone. And then, with any road tile, try to go over here, and you drop another farmer, an insurance farmer, to make sure that if Lapinkoski gets himself this tile over here, then Robert's gonna have a 4th farmer on the field. And the field is definitely so big that it doesn't matter that you overfarm. Lapinkoski is trying to shape the board to his liking a little bit. Ain't gonna work. Robert still does not have a chance to make the insurance move that I was talking about. Lapinkoski with a monastery. No good place to use it, and yeah, I think that's it. At this point, you just gotta lose. You just gotta lose. Yeah, going over here, possibly setting up a connection like this. But I doubt that there's even a straight line remaining. No, there wasn't. And look at this. Just to rub it in. Wait, no, I think we can still go for a field at the very least, you know. That's something, actually. Actually. Wait. Is this winnable? Is this winnable? So we go... No, come on, man. Come on, man. We go here and drop a farmer. That wasn't difficult to find. You were setting this up all along. Well, I mean, Robert's gonna get this tile anyway, yeah, but, oh man. I was thinking that Red could drop a farmer over here and try to connect through that tile. That was the point. That was the whole point. I have to calculate, actually. Let's see. I'm gonna see what the score was, and I'm gonna tell you afterwards if Lapinkoski would have won with that sequence or not. So 8 points for the monastery and all this stuff. 30 points for the field. And as a result, a 36-point win for Robert. Just absolutely brilliant, brilliant final part of the game by Robert. Realizing the field geometry, dropping those insurance farmers, delaying the field connection, and just pure beauty. From Lapinkoski, very nice setup, but let's see if he were to take advantage of it. So, if the tiles were reversed, if Lapinkoski gets the dagger, and if Robert gets... No. If Robert gets the dagger, and if Lapinkoski gets this thing over here on the right. So, 36 points was the difference. In the scenario that I was planning, Lapinkoski gets 30 more because he equalized the field. He gets himself this tile over here, drops a farmer, invades the field. This also means that he doesn't score 2 points over here. So let's see. So this is plus 30 for him. Minus 2. And then how much did he get with his last dagger move? Again, he got 4 points for the dagger move here. So that's going to be minus 4. So Lapinkoski would have gotten himself 24 more points than he did in the game. And then Robert would have gotten himself, well, he would not have gotten himself these 8 points, so that's minus 8 for Robert. And then he would have gotten the dagger, so he would have gotten 4. So this means that minus 8 plus 4, that's minus 4. And minus 24 and plus 24 for Lapinkoski, which means that he would have had 28 more, which means that he still would not have won 97 against 105. Wait, No, he would have won. He lost. Wait, he lost by 26, not 36. Oh no. Well, we know that the run out of tiles was such, but actually Lopinkoski had the chance to steal this game. Am I missing something? No, I'm not. Because you see these ruins over here. Okay, this was worth 3, and this was worth 5, which equalized whatever Robert had on the score on the monastery, right? So that was 8. But then at that point in time, Lopinkoski was 6 points ahead on the scoreboard. The best that Robert can score with his last meeple is 4 points over here for the city. And if Lopinkoski successfully invades the field, this still puts him at +2. So sadly, this was a very difficult position, but the Finns still missed a 50% chance to steal this game by simply going over here with a horse tile, dropping a farmer over here, and sneaking into the field all the way like this. In any case, putting your opponent in a difficult position, putting your opponent in a position where they're also more likely to make a mistake is also part of the game, and this is where Robert absolutely excelled, and they get themselves the 3rd and the final match point for Team Hungary. Even though the winner has been decided, the match is not over, we still have one more pairing to go through, and one where Finland would be the favorites. Eater against Nallarheim. So Nallarheim predictably won the first game by like 40 points, and they are now in the middle of their second game, which also is looking good for Nallarheim, who has the extra scoreboard stuff and has the extra points. And Eater there with a very, very extravagant monastery placement. Let me zoom in on that in a second. Actually, no, let me just update the score first. Okay, look at this. That's okay. This one's got to be fun. So Eater with a 2-point monastery with only 26 tiles remaining, and apparently they have calculated that they have enough time to build up all of this stuff. And Nallarheim apparently agrees as they use a meeple on the monastery to equalize this. Hey, this is actually looking not so bad for Eater. Oh, you know what I forgot? Nallarheim has this nasty habit of playing with the green meeples, and green meeples look so camouflagey that I kind of forgot that there was a monastery over here with green, and there's a green farmer over here, which means that Nallarheim has just occupied the most strategically significant part of the board. This 9-point farmer doesn't have much potential, but it is good as it is. And there's still 1 dagger tile to finish the shared city and to give even 3 more points for that farmer. The monastery obviously speaks for itself. Eater just get themselves some scoring tiles. Also, I like to think of Eater as E-A-T-E-R, like somebody who eats. So whenever I play against this player, I read their screen name like this. I'm actually not sure what it means. If that it's part of her name or not. I actually want to look this up because Carcassonne, Hungary is very cool. They have like all their team members and quick bios about them, and I've received comments recently that I've gotten more requests to talk about the people behind the screen names, who the players actually are. So I'm trying you. Oh yeah, so Eater is not indeed a name. That is Peter Kozma. Who has been on Board Game Arena for a few years now. And he's now trying to fight hard against his opponent's scoreboard lead. But you know what? This actually looks not so bad, really. Because Eater's going to get a monastery back, maybe. Eater's going to get a city back, maybe. He's going to block Nalaheim City, no likelihood. Nalaheim decided to block his own city for the sake of blocking Eater's monastery, simply because this city had a not so great chance of being completed. So then if this guy's going down, he's bringing down the red meeple with him. That makes a lot of sense. Nalaheim with city caps. Has only one meeple in hand, so not an easy tile to play with. Maybe going over here is an idea. Trying to put a bit of pressure against these monasteries. Because there's still technically a chance of him finishing his 9-point monastery and then blocking that square and leaving Eater with 2 trap meeples. He could even still technically finish his city. There's still 1 tile that's left there. There's 1 dagger of each kind remaining. Although Nalaheim needs the dagger in 2 places. He needs it over here to finish an 8-point city and drop a 9-point farmer. Oh, that would be nice. Or over here to finish a shared city and drop a 6-point farmer and also add value to his farmer here. So meeple-wise, the situation is pretty good for Eater, because with the extra meeple, they can score at the very least 6 and maybe 6 more. Nalaheim simply continues. His monastery adds 1 point to it. 4 quick points to Eater. Also leaves a 5-point road up for grabs at the top. Nalaheim with a scoring tile simply gets 1 point for his ruin. Eater now with the last dagger, and this is a fantastic, fantastic draw, which could very well be game decisive. Because now we know that this city's not going to be finished. This city's not going to be finished. Nalaheim will be staying with 1 meeple until the end of the game. No, no, no. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, this is... Oh, man. Like, I can't begin to describe how gigantic of a mistake it is. You know, like what happens when you get the best possible tile in the deck, like the single best tile in the deck, and you use it in the one place that helps your opponent. So, the reason why this move is so self-destructive, but first of all, it sacrifices a meeple for 3 points. Let's think through this. So, 6 points for this guy, but 3 points for this guy. So this guy sacrifices himself until the end of the game, and he gets himself 6 points, which is net 3 because he's also donating 3 points for this guy. So this means if Eater were to use a farmer, he could have taken this 6-point field, he could have taken this 6-point field, but instead, no. He goes for the net 3-point move. Moreover, he gives a meeple back to Nalaheim, who has now 2 meeples. He deploys one of them immediately on this road, and he's going to get 6 points and a meeple back. Yeah, this is, okay, you know, this has to be like the biggest blunder we've seen today. And we're going to say it's even more impactful for the fate of the game than the blunder committed earlier by Lapinkoski. So Hungary is not only going to win this match, but they're also going to win the blunder competition. Oh, Peter is Eater is part of Peter. That makes sense. Hi, Joseph. Hungary's captain in the chat. But yeah, well, definitely this move has to come up in the team analysis. And I think it really comes down to, I'm not sure, like, Is that really just like the dopamine hit that you get from a completed cities? But I thought like at expert level we should be past this. And I think an easy way to avoid such a mistake, although actually that's a really nice move from Eater here, trying to invade this 12-point field. You know what? The Hungarian could still win this game regardless. Yeah, it's a very nice invasion over here. But still, 2 fields up for grabs. Nalheim is actually likely to take both of them because he has the meeples now. I don't think he's going to do it just yet. Maybe just continuing his ruin would be the most efficient way to score. I was also looking for some tactical ideas to go over here, but there isn't a dagger remaining, and there isn't anything that goes into this square, in fact. So the idea of going over here, dropping a farmer, and connecting through the shared road doesn't really work. I guess there's this field connection platform at the top, but I don't think that Eater really needs it. Nalheim kind of needs it, but he does not want to get blocked. It was super, super easy to get blocked. 4 points for Eater. We'll still keep him ahead. Oh, Joseph is saying that he's not a captain. So who is the captain this year? Now I'm with an incredibly difficult position, but maybe there's something that we can do. So I'm thinking of 2 candidate moves. One is that we could go over here and try to invade that 12-point field, simply because it's the highest scoring feature on the board. Yes, it is blockable, but our position is just terrible, so we have to do it. But there's an alternative. Maybe we can go over here and over here, or over here, or over here, and enable a 6-point field and try to draw a city cap to turn it into a 9-point field, and maybe that could be enough. I don't think it is gonna be enough, just because Eater has more stuff. So 8 points on this monastery, 9 points here. This guy has 3 blocked points. This guy has 4. This guy has 6. This guy has 7. This guy has 6. And yeah, a couple of points ahead Eater is. And this is mainly a result of his scoreboard lead. Just munching on some city caps in a timely manner. So Koralos is actually the captain, leading the team with the victory on table 5. Setting the example for the rest of the team. You know, whenever I'm the captain, I definitely get more nervous when playing my matches, because I sort of feel like I have to win, because I have to bring the team points and so on. Anyway, let's try and see how Nalheim can win this. And I really doubt that they can, because even if they invade the field at the top, it's going to cost them a meeple. So I think they're going to need to not only invade the field, but also to provoke some mistake from their opponent. And they're also going to need to not lose on time. They go for the farming idea, which is really nice. We saw this as an option. And what is exactly the tile they're trying to draw? Are there even city caps remaining? And I don't think there are. So this is just a farming move for the sake of farming. And Eater can simply respond by meepling one of the 6-point fields. Anywhere really. This one is fine. This one is fine. He could also go here and block the connection platform to the field. I'm not sure if he has to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's still a curve remaining. So the idea of going over here with something like a straight line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's still one straight line remaining. So Nalheim could do something like this potentially. But 12 points. 12 points is the maximum that he can score with his 1 meeple. Maybe if he gets a city tile, he can score 2 more. But I doubt that there are shielded city tiles remaining. I don't think there are. Well, we're gonna see. As Eater, we could also get ourselves 1 monastery point, but I think that a farmer is better, because then we can get ourselves a road tile that is going to give ourselves 2 monastery points with 1 move. That would be my plan. There are, however, 2 crossroads remaining, and those could be used to score. So Eater goes for the farm. Nalaheim is going to score for the road, of course, for one of the roads, for a 3-point road. Eater did drop a 6-point farmer, whilst also building up his monastery in the process. Actually, I really like this move. I think it is the most precise of all the possibilities. From Eater's perspective, I don't think we should be trying to prevent Nalaheim from invading the main field. We should be trying to outrun it. So 3 points for Nalaheim is now gets himself some stuff on the scoreboard before invading, and a bit of a wrong sequencing. If only he were to get the straight line before the curve, then there would have been chances. So Eater, of course, gets the crossroads, gets himself the 2 points, and Nalaheim, if he were to get the straight line and then invade, then yes, something maybe could happen in this game, but now the best that I can see that he can do is simply score 6 points here, which I'm pretty sure is the move that we're going to see. But you know, like whenever you are trying to attack the field and then you get a tile which doesn't fit, and then you realize that you're lost, I feel like you need to spend some 10 or 20 seconds grieving, bemoaning your fate that you didn't get the necessary tile, and then you can make your move. And this is what we see. Oh, that's so nice! I didn't see that. Oh wait, no, that doesn't work. That makes no sense. He's invading a 6-point field. He's invading a 6-point field instead of just taking a 6-point field straight up. I mean, of course, he gets the style points, but it was just better to take the 6-point field over here. I guess a little bit of flex by Green, showing off his board awareness, but hey. Eater manages to defeat a player 300 rating points above him. I'm gonna assume, right? Well, I mean, he has the field and stuff. Yep, 5 points is the difference, which means that Nalaheim expressly needed that farming opportunity in order to win. So you know what? Actually, now that I think about this, well, I mean, I actually thought about this before, but I just didn't want to be nitpicky. What Eater should have done, instead of taking the 2 points over here, he should have gone over here and prevented the farming opportunity from Nalaheim, who could go like this. That would have been a 100% win for him. You could say that Nalaheim could maybe go over here with a straight line and drop a farmer like this and connect to a curve. But with the cow tile, Red would have been able to go over here and block that invasion. So in fact, it was more precise for Eater to not give Nalaheim this winning sequence, which was still like a good 1 in 6 chance, but simply to go over here, sacrifice 2 points, but seal off the field. Very interesting endgame. Nalaheim with some chances until the end, but the Hungarian prevailed. So it is 1 Nalaheim, 1 Eater, and the final game of this duel and this match has just started. Eater is also having the starting player advantage. And look at what kind of tactics there. No, that's like a really, really nice move. Trying to build their city around Green's road. Green is Nalaheim, of course, again. But then also this comes at a cost, right? Because going over here is very nice. Because it gives you a very nice way of building a city like this. And it also stops the growth of Nalaheim's road. But there's this sort of stuff that can happen. And now Nalaheim is pressing a medium-sized but a very painful-looking city, which Eater is going to need to do something about this. Green with a Dorito tile. Has a variety of interesting uses. He could go over here and break the loop of his opponent. That actually would be really nice. Instead, he makes a bit of a more standard move. Tries to go at the top. I really like breaking the loop here, actually. So Eater is now available to continue his road, but Nalaheim now gets an extremely annoying move against his opponent. He breaks the city quite a lot. There are now only 2 tiles available for this square. But most importantly, this idea of getting an extender tile and a Dorito and a Dorito and then making this meeple travel all the way into the shared city, that idea is no longer possible. Eater with a monastery. Looking to compensate for Nalaheim's monastery. Maybe just going next to it straight up. Or maybe just going over here for the spot which scores the most. And this is exactly what he does. Nalaheim with a straight line is going to build up his monastery. I don't really expect many different options. This is exactly what he does. Eater with a clunky looking tile. He decides to build up his city, but actually I believe it was a bit stronger to break Nalaheim's instead. So he's still building his city, Nalaheim, with a fantastic tile that gives him 2 points and delays both of meeples of Eater, but Eater immediately gets himself 2 points for the road, 6 points for a road, and a meeple back, and monastery development. That's a fantastic, fantastic tile. So Eater now maybe in a better position, but not anymore, as Nalaheim is threatening to finish a big city over here, but Eater is going to invade it. There's still 2 more splitter tiles available. Will Nalaheim find a splitter tile before Eater gets a Dorito to avert a disaster? This square is looking quite blocky at this point. Nalaheim does not have a very good way of re-attacking the city, but what he does is a decent way of maybe blocking Eater's monastery. That would be a bit of an annoying move to deal with. He could go over here, but if you go over here, there are some scenarios how red goes over here to connect this meeple and the hypothetical meeple of green. Everything turns into a big ruin, but as a result, green loses this meeple over here. So I'm not sure if this move was actually necessary. I'm gonna also just straight up say that I don't like that move. Eater also now successfully continues his monastery. I really like the blocking idea there. I know that Nalaheim generally doesn't like blocking that much. Although it used to be the other way. I used to be much more blocking averse. It's kind of, I'm shifting to a bit of a blocky, rather say balanced playstyle a little bit later. And it has been showing some good results. So here's my idea about this, right? So Eater now can go over here, which I think they really should. This would block this guy by just 4 points. This would create a big ruin, which is completely equal. I think the idea of Nalaheim here was that he could still technically go over here, or he could still technically draw something like this and separate these cities. And he does get himself ahead on the scoreboard at the very least. He finishes an 8-point city, starts a new one, and all that good stuff. But Eater now also get himself a meeple back, gets ahead on the scoreboard again by getting himself a couple of roads. He's also threatening to finish a monastery, which now surely is going to be prevented by Nalaheim. Both monastery tiles have gone out and 4 straight lines have gone out. So this here restriction idea is way, way more annoying than it looks. Or I don't know, maybe to you it looks annoying, but it is annoying, trust me. The fate of the city here on the left has not been decided. Now, great tile from Nalaheim as he draws one of the 2 remaining dagger tiles that were fitting for this square. So there's only 1 tile remaining for Eater to free up his meeple. And if he doesn't free up his meeple, then suddenly Nalaheim has a block meeple over here, which equalizes this block meeple over here. And so green is not at a meeple disadvantage anymore. One important thing about this situation over here. So Nalaheim now needs to find his best move of yep, there we go, there we go. So he's setting up a splitter, of course. So Eater really, really needs to draw an invasion tile before Nalaheim gets the splitter. Instead, he gets a tile, which is also quite nice for him. Finishing a monastery, dropping a farmer, lots of green squares, 2 completed cities already, 3rd completed city right there, 4th and 5th, and maybe even 6th potential city a bit later. A dagger for Nalaheim, but not the one that Eater needed, so still a tile to go over here. And he uses it to score a road, but a city cap for Eater immediately, who's ahead on the scoreboard even more so. Nalaheim with a lovely, lovely scoring tile gets himself 4 points for the road, 3 points for another road, but leaves a empty city cap in Red's field, acknowledging that he's going to have to attack the field anyway at some point. Eater is super happy to score even more field points. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Nalaheim builds up his monastery. Eater now finally successfully connects to the city, which I think he should do. You can't possibly risk Nalaheim getting this splitter, no? You know why he has not put the tile here instantly? Well, there are 2 reasons. If he goes over here, which of course he still has to, then this will give a platform for Nalaheim to fully block this square. But it's just a sacrifice that we have to make. Yep, exactly. The other reason is that this field at the top is unattended, and Eater now gets like the worst tile in the deck that he could possibly have because he has no way of getting tempo on the field. You really don't want to be dropping a farmer here with pretty much any tile. I guess he could go here and try block Nalaheim's monastery, which would also restrict field invasion options, because like there's some scenarios where Nalaheim can go over here, drop a farmer, then connect through his own monastery, and this would eliminate this opportunity. This would also leave only 1 dagger tile that would fit into this square. There's 1 dagger of each kind remaining. And this is exactly what Eater does. But now Nalaheim, of course, with any tile is going to drop a farmer. And it looks like we're having ourselves a big Brazilian field fight. The overall meeple majority is going to belong to Eater. Because statistically, it should take a real long time for Nalaheim to get a meeple back from here. These 2 are trapped equally. And these 2 are trapped equally. But you know what? Nalaheim's really proactive with geometry, although I think it doesn't have so much to do with strategy as with the tiles that he's drawn. Red, with this tile, of course, meeple a 6-point monastery, which is lovely and everything, but he was not able to meeple a field. So Nalaheim now took advantage of this field connection platform. And you know what? You know what I really liked here as green? Yeah, that move is fine. But I think it wasn't the worst idea to just go over here and triple down on the farms. Or maybe not. Maybe he's trying to be efficient because he acknowledges that he's 15 points behind on the scoreboard. So from Nalaheim's perspective, okay. So Eater drops a farmer, which I think they should not have done. I think they should have been a bit more patient and just scored. And I'll explain you why Otto is being patient. Otto is being patient. Like, one of the reasons why he did not drop a third farmer. Well, now, of course, he does. Man, this farmer is just filthy. I think the best thing that this guy can do is actually not connect to the main field and become a 15-point field on his own, with 3 completed cities already and 2 more in the works. But anyway, I just want to finish my point. So the reason why Otto was hesitant to go all in on the farms, he acknowledges that he needs to score a little bit to keep himself within range, because Eater's ahead enough on the scoreboard for there to be a potential chance of a fieldless win, and this is not something that Otto wants to allow. Instead, Otto just keeps scoring and scoring and scoring. The last dagger has been drawn by Eater, so this square will not be filled. Although, who knows, I mean, in the last game, Eater chose to use the dagger on his opponent's feature for no reason, so why not now? Look at this 5-point city, so juicy. Okay, instead he goes for the farm. So I guess his point is just to really try and keep parity on the farm. And this really doesn't give a lot of flexibility for either of the players, so the idea of Nalaheim will be to win the field. The idea of Eater will be to equalize the field and preserve his scoreboard lead. But you know what, now that I'm thinking? Otto still has chances to score a little bit more and try to win this game without the field. I mean, without winning the field, just equalizing the field. Because he's down 8 points, and he has 4 points in the block meeple against this 1 point. So he's actually truly down only 5 points in this position, provided the fields are equal. So he can either go for the farm, or he can simply draw a lot of quick point tiles. So he does connect one of his farmers into the field, and his plan now is to block this guy. Uh-oh. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Eater now not able to do much, really. Actually, you know what? Yeah, he just scores. Nalaheim, I expect, is going to block that invasion. Not with this tile. He's now trying to block this guy instead. Yeah, Eater really has a lot of things that he needs to accomplish. There's a great move that he can play, but does he see that sort of stuff? The move that he should do is to go over here and try to make it harder for Otto to block that square. There are still 2 straight lines remaining to fit there. And we really don't want Nalaheim to get a curve and point it over there and not allow us a straight line anymore. There are no triple crossroads remaining, so a curve over here would block the square completely, which would be devastating for our winning chances. Instead, Eater chooses a different approach. I wonder why? So rather than preserving his chances to connect to the field, he decides to keep as many fields separate as possible. Now he has a new plan. He wants to take advantage of his 12-point section on the scoreboard, and he wants to keep this field tied, and then he wants to have these 2 small fields for 9 points, 6 plus 3, and then simply concede the bigger field to Nalaheim with his 2 meeples. So this field for these 2 guys now has 6 completed cities on it, which scores 18. Yeah, so Eater now is actually going for a fieldless win, and Otto now recognizes and he refuses to block this square. And I wonder why, and I think his idea that he wants to maybe eat up this meeple at that point. Maybe he wants to block this square instead and then just use these 2 guys to munch on this poor red meeple. So it's possible that Eater will be blocking himself. Although in this case it would be Nalaheim who would be the Eater, because it would be his two meeples who would be eating up the poor farmer. What is this game? Carcassonne promotes cannibalism. That is not good. Eater is going to finish his monastery, I expect. I mean, what else do you have to do? And a meeple in this position would be huge because it would give himself more winning chances. Because once you complete this monastery over here, not only do you get yourself a meeple back, but you get to use it immediately on your next move, trying to connect to the bottom field. So that would be a huge deal for the Hungarian. I don't think I want to find out the rules of your game, Elias. So Eater doesn't, after some deliberation, get a meeple back. And what does Nalaheim do here? Because now he needs to, first of all, be very careful over here so that both of these farmers don't invade. And he also needs to be careful here so that Eater does not invade at the bottom. And he also needs to score more because he's behind even with his extra farmer. So I think the way Nalaheim wins this, he will actually need to get the straight line himself and connect this red farmer to his own field and then try to deny this farmer the entrance. He starts by blocking the field invasion platform, which yields immediate dividends, as Eater was going to go over here and drop a farmer, but now he still has a field connection platform. You know what? He could go over here and drop a farmer like this, and there's still plenty of tiles that fit there. They are one starting tile and two straight lines. This is like an amazing chance. The question is, does the Hungarian see it? Again, the move is over here with a farmer, and I think it's impossible to block because there are no crossroads remaining. At least it's not possible to block in one move. Well, looks like a great idea, because not only will you be getting this field, you will be also scoring a 3-point road in the process. Not the easiest tile to see, but he does not find it. He simply goes for the 2 points. I don't think that was a conscious decision. I'm pretty sure that was a miss. Like, I'm guarantee you, if this move were to be shown to Eater, he would have taken it. And now his next tile is a straight line. Go ahead. Okay, not quite. But still, Nalaheim scores 4 points. Eater now looking to either go at the bottom and invade the field in a bit of more traditional way, which is still possible. Eater could go over here for a 6-point field. Yeah, of course, he goes for an invasion. He does not want to connect his bottom farmer just yet, and I think Nalaheim now needs to really come up with something special. I guess you could go over here and equalize this guy. That would make sense. Maybe that's his win, yeah. So he goes over here, equalizes this guy, and then try to get a straight line and eat up that guy at the top and hope that Eater does not have time to connect over here. That's very interesting. Or he could just kiss this field goodbye and instead go over here and block this guy and then genuinely try to go for this. Because not only will be he eating up this 9-point meeple of Eater, he would also be scoring extra because he would be expanding his own field. So actually this move in the short term will be worth 15 points for Nalaheim because it will give -9 to Eater and +6 to Nalaheim. So just getting one tile over here is worth more than the entire bottom field, or the same than the bottom field. The bottom field is also 15. It has 15 points on it. Very interesting field geometry in this position. It's also possible for Nalaheim to just go over here and connect like this instead, because I believe with the remaining tiles it's still not that easy to block. There are plenty of curves remaining, really many curves remaining. So we should be expecting Eater to ultimately invade this field. And then if he does invade this field, then Eater can simply win by going over here. Nalaheim does invade. Eater gets a straight line. He probably wants to go over here, although I'm not sure. Maybe he's better off actually going over here. He would be sacrificing 3 points in the short term because he would be bringing this guy into the field, but he would make sure that green now cannot go over here. And green now cannot have this eating up idea. Actually, I believe this move here would win the game on the spot for Eater, or maybe not. Because I kind of forgot that Nalaheim has a monastery. So Nalaheim has 11 points extra on the board because of these here features. And I'm not counting the fields. So Eater is +6 except for the field. Yeah, I think it should win him the game, because let's say he goes here. He's going to lose an 18-point field, but he's going to guarantee himself at least a 9-point field. He's going to be -3, and then all he needs to do is score 4 more points with his remaining meeple, which is not that hard to do. Yeah, he could just go at the top and like get himself a 6-point field, for example. But it's not an easy decision to make, and he finds it. So that's a very, very nice move. And so now I guess what Nalaheim needs to do is just like, yeah, go here, not allow him to go here. Eater now is going to connect to the field. Because, you know, why not? Just force Nalaheim to spend a tile. Or, you know, he could just take this 5-point road. Or the 6-point field for that matter, and then that should be enough. Although, you know what? If we take the 6-point field too early, actually we could still lose, because Nalaheim could go here and unify these two farmers, nullifying our field. So he's being careful here. Eater invades, Nalaheim of course re-invades, and now, only now, will the Hungarian go over here and bring the situation from -3 to +3 and rejoice at his win with 3 points, according to my calculations, which, as my experience will know, are very often imprecise. But I think that this position is simple enough for me to not have messed it up this time. Six-point farmer indeed. Yeah, Nalaheim just tries to have himself a little trick. Wait! Oh, I forgot about the starting tile. There was actually still a chance for Nalaheim to win. Oh, no, there wasn't. Oh, no, there wasn't. Man, this is so smart by Eater. Look at this. Okay, imagine this. So, if the tiles were reversed, then Nalaheim can go here to complete an empty city in his field, thus scoring 3 points. Bring the game to a tie, which is not good enough for him. But if that were to happen, then red could get the straight line and go over here to invade the main field that way, all the way through here. And this is the reason why red took the 6-point field at the top, as opposed to the more intuitive move of going over here and taking the 6-point field like this. This was to make sure that this square is not blocked, to allow this here sequence. Oh, that is brilliant. And 3 points indeed is the win for Eater. Very nice endgame from both players, actually. I think they both did what they have to do. And really, Eater kind of realizing that his chances of equalizing the entire field were slim. And so he simply cut his losses by going over here and separating many small fields. Then he got himself the meeple majority by having the better monastery. And then with the extra meeple, just created too many threats for Otto to deal with. Also, a lot of credit for moves like these. Well, not moves, but moves like these are very difficult to follow up. So realizing that there was this win condition where this guy does not want to participate in the main field fight, where he actually has enough on his own, really required a lot of precision. And then finally, this here move, the only winning move for Eater, in fact, seeing Otto's dangerous city cap idea that could be used over here. Lovely stuff. Alrighty. So Hungary wins this not 3-2 as expected, but 4-1. The team with the 3 masters on their roster has fallen. And actually, all 3 masters lost today. Only Ilkka was the one player to give Finland a point. So my prediction was wrong. Congratulations for Team Hungary, again asserting why they're the reigning world number 3. And then that should really be it for today. So make sure to leave the like button before you leave. Some plans for the future for us to discuss. Bakshe against Wise Maze. That's the bronze medal match in the Carcassonne Champions League. If I'm not mistaken, has been scheduled for Tuesday, 1200 UTC. So in 2 days, I'm going to live stream the bronze medal match. And in a couple of days after this, I'm playing myself against someone you know, the reigning champion. I'm going to be trying to dethrone him. I'm going to throw everything I can at him. So it should be an exciting fight. This one I will obviously not be streaming. I will need to focus in order to play myself. You can watch the coverage on Nalaheim's channel in English, or maybe on some other channel as well. I will keep you updated in the community tab. So then that's going to be it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm going to see you soon.